She had everything: money, status, and power. He had nothing but a delivery uniform and a humble smile. To her, he was invisible, unworthy of respect, but when she mocked him in front of everyone, she had no idea who he really was. The next day, when she walked into the most important meeting of her life, she saw a face that made her freeze in place. The man she humiliated was now the one in charge. Stay tuned for an incredible story of arrogance, karma, and an unexpected twist. Sophia was the type of woman who always got what she wanted. She lived in a penthouse, drove a luxury car, and only associated with high-class people. To her, money wasn't just a privilege. It was what separated people like her from everyone else. One evening, after a long day of shopping for designer clothes, Sophia ordered food from an exclusive restaurant. She sat on her couch, scrolling through social media, impatiently waiting for her delivery. Minutes later, there was a knock at the door. With an annoyed sigh, she got up and opened it. Standing there was a young delivery man in a worn-out uniform, holding a neatly packed food bag. He smiled politely. "Good evening, ma'am. Your order is here." Sophia glanced at him with disgust. His shoes were scuffed, his hands rough from work. He smelled like the outdoors, not of expensive cologne like the men she was used to. She scoffed. "Ugh! Do they seriously send people like you to deliver food to my building?" The delivery man's smile faltered slightly, but he remained professional. "I apologize if there was any inconvenience, ma'am. Here's your order." Sophia snatched the bag from his hand. "Next time, tell them to send someone who looks presentable. I don't want to lose my appetite looking at this." A few people passing by in the hallway heard everything. Some gave disapproving looks, but Sophia didn't care. To her, he was just another nobody. The delivery man simply nodded, his face neutral. "Have a nice evening, ma'am." And with that, he turned and left, never saying a word. The next morning, Sophia put on her best designer suit and headed to the most important business meeting of her career. She had been waiting for months to present a partnership proposal to one of the biggest companies in the country. If she succeeded, it would skyrocket her career. She arrived at the skyscraper's executive floor, confident and ready to impress. The receptionist led her into a massive conference room. The air was thick with anticipation, as she took her seat among other business professionals. Then the door opened, and when she saw who walked in, her heart stopped. It was him, the delivery man from the night before. Except this time, he wasn't wearing a uniform. He was wearing a perfectly tailored suit, exuding power and authority. He walked to the head of the table, placed down his folder, and looked around the room before locking eyes with her. Silence fell. Sophia felt her face flush with embarrassment. Her hands gripped the table. What was happening? Then he smirked. "Good morning, everyone. I'm Daniel Carter, CEO of this company. Let's begin." Sophia couldn't breathe. Her mind raced. CEO? He's the CEO? She had mocked the most powerful man in the room, and now he was the one in control. The meeting went on, but Sophia could barely focus. Every time Daniel spoke, her shame grew deeper. She tried to avoid his gaze, but she could feel his presence. Then came her turn to present. She stood up, hands slightly shaking, and began her pitch. But just minutes in, Daniel interrupted. "Before we continue, I have to address something," he said, leaning back in his chair. "It's funny how life works. Just last night I met someone who judged a man not by his character but by his job. Someone who believed respect was earned through wealth, not decency." Sophia's stomach twisted. She knew this was about her. And today, that same person is standing in front of me, asking for an opportunity. The room was dead silent. Every eye was on her. Sophia's confidence was gone. Daniel looked at her with a piercing gaze. "Tell me, Ms. Sophia, why should I trust someone who only respects people when it benefits them?" Sophia's mouth went dry. There was nothing she could say. Moments later, Daniel closed the folder in front of him. This meeting is over. As everyone left the room, Sophia just sat there, humiliated and speechless. Money doesn't make you better than others. Your character does. The people you look down on today may be the ones you need tomorrow. Because in the end, karma has a way of making sure everyone learns their lesson. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful real-life stories. Have you ever seen karma in action? Tell us in the comments.